because I can agree with that to an extent where you were saying, men lose their testosterone. Oh, let me put it this way: men lose their testosterone as a result of falling in love.
Because I might be wrong, but the testosterone was like a blocker for the vasopressin to increase.
What I noticed was what do we call it? Fucking I was actually a lot less disciplined. I lost my discipline like a lot. I wasn't as driven with like things I wanted to do with my life as opposed to when I was like single. I actually feel like, and I thought about this. See, I feel like single men actually get more shit done in a sense. Like I can almost look at it like if I take the single men that I look up to, or single men in Hollywood or some shit like that, and I see like where they're at, legendary.
Yo, he got in his bed. He's in the best shape he's ever been in.
Oh man, we gotta see if he joins up. But yeah, totally. Yeah, John's one of those interesting guys, man. But yeah, I could totally agree where like that testosterone definitely lowers a bit because I can definitely see how I've experienced that as a person myself.
It was interesting how it was like commitment. FOE.
Now I can't entirely 100. I mean, that's really interesting to actually kind of see. I think that's very interesting. So wait, so let me recap. You said women fall in love through sexually.
But it could be like
So
physical connection,
physical acts.
Yeah, and you think about it, how many girls are going so fast into having sex with men. So it's like that's why so many are falling in love so fast.
Maybe that's why Kevin's wife gave it up to him the first night. She already
knew. No.
I don't know if that's true, man.
You don't know if it's true?
No. Because, look, you don't gotta. There's so many girls that I made fall in love with me, and I don't know if that's true.
Swear.
God, when you put too much salt in your shit.
Because we were because my sister was looking at this thing with they were doing brain studies on people and like to a grandmother, you said? Yeah, so the lady who wanted to like do the brain, who wanted to see what was going on with the brain, she ended up talking with her grandmother about it just to like kind of get some like story about it or whatever. I forgot how they led up into the conversation, but essentially the grandmother was bringing up how like because basically like so wait, recap for me. The woman concluded that like just don't fall in love necessarily physically. They fall in love when they choose to commit. And the woman started like looking through more studies and started to like find like a bunch of stuff. I didn't see it. My sister did, so she has a little more information than I do on that topic. But
the first thing a girl always says to me is, "I love your mind," and it can only build on that. I think sex is more of a secondary thing. Women fall in love with mentality. That a mentality will either make or break this love that they see.
yeah. Yeah.
I got lima beans, I got broccoli, I got a shit ton of it.
Oh, got that. Fuck was it? I'm just gonna say veggie dinner. I wanted to say the greens, but then I was like, wait, chickpeas aren't a green, so I can't say that.
They're pretty much all greens.
Yeah.
That's a green, I guess.
I'm gonna start getting involved with chickpeas. I need to get back on my beans and my peas.
I'm mostly vegan. Mostly. I just gotta get rid of fish and eggs. I eat about 7 eggs.
Has to carry.
I guess.
Yeah, because that's
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
because I mean, it's literally what you described. Just pretty much being plant based, but still allowing yourself to eat fish and eggs. Because I remember looking at that diet a long time ago, but when I was like considering going like vegan and whatnot.
Well, the eggs are chickens are free range too, so that's good. I get them locally.
Like from a farm or something, or
No, it's someone that raises chickens.
okay, I got you.
I'll eat that deer, but usually I don't fuck with meat.
Yeah, I tend to feel better without it, anyways. Because it's just like the power of greens, man. Like it's so weird too. Because like lately I've been kind of like off my green game, and like now that recently, like tonight I spent time like saying like, hey, we ain't fucking around. We getting these greens in the night. And I ate a pretty big dinner before coming onto the stream. Normally I would have been a little more greens did me the favor. Exactly. Plus it just feels good to like be able to be like plant based beast.
And I ate some fucking broccoli tonight. How about you?
I had asparagus.
I used to hate asparagus.
I actually when I was first getting into greens, broccoli was when steamed broccoli specific actually pretty impressive. Holy fuck, I did not expect that. And then slowly, it took a long time, but I used to only be able to take like 15, 20 grams. Dude, I could get like 40 and like feel fucking awesome.
Yeah, I just grab handfuls and I just throw it. I just saute it.
Yeah.
I always have 2 boxes of baby spinach. That doesn't last me too long.
My parents always wonder, like when people see me like just put a bunch in my mouth, they're like, "What the fuck, dude? How are you doing?" I'm like, "This shit is good." Like when I was in Florida, they had them putting in with a little salad. I just took the fucking shit and ate it as it was. Fucking felt great. Yeah, man, greens are powerful. I remember my first experience with spinach was the canned spinach, and I hated it. And that's what made me like, oh, it's so awful. It was like when I tasted baby spinach, it didn't even feel like the same thing. So that's like, I remember my dad asking me, he's like, "What?" This is like, you like this, but you didn't like the Popeye spinach a long time ago. I was like, dude, no, that canned spinach, it smells awful, pure leaf. And then
because I used to watch some Popeye cartoons, so that just kind of stuck with me.
Oh yeah.
I like
Well, man, Popeye was a shit. I used to watch that so much.
That's how it sounded. I don't even know how he talked. Like what? I don't remember shit he said. I just remember fucking popping that spinach going to save that girl.
Yeah. I still remember the theme so well too. It's like boing. That was a monster.
Well, cool thing happened to me today. My twin flame came back last night. Now that was real fucking powerful. I'll show you how powerful too. Check this out. So I had some synchronicities before that. I was watching on the Punisher. You ever see that?
Yes.
All right. Did you watch the whole thing?
No, just like I only remember bits and pieces of it.
All right. So the last, it's one of his last lines. He's like, he's talking to the girl he brought along. And he's like, sometimes where they change your life or something. And right after that, I bitched down. I started crying a little bit. And I went to my Instagram, and that girl followed me. And I immediately exited out, and I started freaking out. And this happened. Like, I didn't even know this was going on. Like, I stuck my head in a pillow.
What the?
And I started bleeding.
Oh!
I don't know what the fuck that was, but dude, I don't even. And then right after that, I went to sleep. But we talked today, and it was like the most amazing connection I've ever had. It was just nonstop smiling. I'm having a fucking daddy day.
Having that you got it today.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hate that. I kind of went. No, it's like that
Dude,
police.
that's why I wanted to.
Wait, what happened?
That's why I wanted to talk about care today, because there's this girl that I had to tell. You know, like I said, I never even met this girl before. This girl that I had to tell, and she put so much care into me, but I didn't necessarily. The care that I gave back was more spiritual, guiding her towards ascension.
Yeah.
But I never gave her my love back. I did, but I did a vow to never hurt a girl again. But this effort in you, not only because we haven't met each other, but yeah, that's how.
Let me kind of get this. So let me just make sure I got this clear. You got the twin flame, who you're she contacted. I don't know whether she was there in person. I mean, she was there in person. I'm assuming you guys are small call or whatever.
She's long distance. She lives in
Okay,
Georgia.
so y'all had I got y'all. Haven't met at all, but y'all been talking for a bit or something like that. What's okay?
No, it's only been about a month, but
okay, so
every girl I talked to,
decent time. So just
yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what? So because I know how hard of a position it is to kind of just be like, hey, look, it's nice talking to you, but someone else is back. Because I've had
that first thing in the morning too, and I taught her this morning routine. She's been on it, but today I guess she decided to roll over and check her phone. And I told her, that checking your phone like that in the morning is not going to bring you any good. And she did it. And that's the first thing she read, dude.
God, yeah, no, that must have. Gosh, yeah, that one must.
I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, she was probably getting a little invested, and probably saw that hope. Yeah, I mean, because it's really unfortunate because again, there was no way you could have seen, twin flame coming back. There was no way you could have seen that.
I didn't even believe it, dude. I just closed the app and I was like, what the actual fuck? I went to the pillow. I started having bleeding nose, and I just went to bed right after that. Checked it in the morning. It was her.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a really, really unfortunate case right there. As far as
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I mean, because it really is just like a curveball, man. And coming from her position, I know personally, I'm talking to.
She was calling me. I'm gonna get that straight. She's like, no. I was like, yes, you are. It's gonna happen. Now, this is what I want you to do. I hope you know that attachment is suffering. It goes for anything.
Yeah.
You're most likely going to get attached, but don't get too attached. That's the main thing. And
well, I mean that's kind of hard to tell anyone there.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're trying to say, keeping that attachment in check. I even had a similar situation like that where there was just me and this girl, and I totally get where that situation goes down, because I'm thinking, this girl, this is gonna sound brutal, but I'm pretty sure she hadn't had too many guys in her life, come around and show her that type of interest or passion. So it kind of leaves it. It's very hard for it to be just straight about pleasure, because I'm even saying, like, once you get feeling, like, if I start to feel like, or you start to feel like, there's feelings, like, we got to cut this off. But it's like also knowing where, by talking to this woman, she hadn't had that with too many guys in her life, especially ones that she actually really wanted. That's at some point I was smart enough to understand, like, at some point her heart was gonna kick and it was gonna fall at some point. And as much as I wanted to be that guy that was like, as much as I didn't want to hurt her, there was also the other side of me who was just like, just go for it, just go for it, just yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, saying, be careful about your feelings, that can be a very difficult thing. Keeping that attachment in check, but it's like that once that flurry starts going,
Yeah. Gotta wait for the weather to stop, man. I mean, the good thing about what I did is I chose possibly good, but
yeah,
it still happened.
and I mean that's
I
just
think I did
an
right
inevitability.
on my part.
Yeah, it was just an inevitability that occurred, and I mean, from how I see it, she's gonna have very mixed feelings about you from this point, and she's probably really gonna struggle lately with just mixed feelings in general. But like you said, you you did your best to try to keep her prepared for what's coming, and now she's gonna catch that wave of pain.
Yeah. And it wasn't even a relationship or anything.
Yeah,
But
it's because she saw the potential. If it doesn't work out, it really becomes a wrap, and for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was driving around, and, like, I guess what I want to say, I mean, it's attached to it, like, but I literally sit there and staring off to it in the truck, and then, like, I'm just being so attached to women in my life, feeling inadequate as a man because I got rejected or whatever, and I started, like, really start to see, like, remember that talk we had the other night where I was talking about, like, being left on red, leaving me frustrated and stuff like that, and I started to, like, kind of go down into that and see how I let my self-esteem, seeing how much, like, anger had been developed in me through, like, rejection and whatnot, and how much, like, it was more out of that, just sitting there like, fuck, man. It almost.
That's why you gotta see both sides. Like, not only for the girl side,
Yeah.
Like, there's four sides. But in this case, like, there's your case where the man's feeling that way towards women, like, oh, fuck women. And then there's this girl's case, maybe she's oh, fuck man. And then there's the side to you that you gotta go, okay, well, all right, maybe I'm gonna start seeing how this feels. How does this make a girl feel? Now you start leaving girls on red. You gotta teach yourself both sides, and this is what girls do too.
Yeah.
Girls will start coming at you and not leave you on red, respond every fucking minute. Maybe she's gonna do that to guys now. She's gonna start, leaving them on red and stuff. There's four sides to it,
Yeah.
It's but ultimately it's more of a, I'm a really big
Of coming down to what has them follow through with something, what doesn't have them follow through with something, what comes to interrupt and not interrupt, but yeah, as far as how she is, man, she's starting a new cycle of pain. How long that may last, how long that may be, that's really, we can't determine any of that. That's just, it depends on her. And knowing her side, yeah, I mean, like, knowing how she might take this. Well, we already know how she's going to feel about this and where she might go with this. But the thing now is that whatever this experience did for her, it shut her down. It's gonna shut her down for a bit. It's a physical effect on her as well. But really, it's like it's that long run thing, dude. Like, where 2 years from now, it's like that experience. It really is only gonna help her in a better way.
Yeah, because I told her like, look, I know that I don't mean to sound like a fucking time that I was fake to this girl. I would totally rule with her. I don't want to invest my feelings because obviously right now these are all just possibilities that could happen. If I, which is where she lived, I will, and maybe we'll see each other. But the investment to not be with like any other guy, like she's like, I'm waiting.
Yeah.
So right when she said that, I was like, fuck around with any girl, but I'm not gonna wait like that because it's, I don't know, but I told her back to the manipulation thing. I was like, look, this is definitely a learning experience because if I was that guy, fucking why manipulate? And look, there's types of guys, there's dudes that do that.
Oh yeah.
And they realize that there's dudes that don't do that. I mean, do that, but they don't realize it. Like it's just like male nature, I guess. I don't know. But I was like, if you fall in love with a guy again, and he's not like me, like he's not real, he's not, and I mean, like he's not real, and he's not, and he manipulates you and all that. Now you know what to watch out for. Now you know you got to be careful with whatever you put your feelings to, whatever you put your mind to. You got to be careful.
That is the thing I needed to save the other live stream. Holy fuck, that was good.
Yeah, like the guys out here, they're like sharks. People say there's plenty of fish in the sea, and it's true, and they keep fucking eating. But you gotta be that fish to get away.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a time where it's something real hard to say, man. Like
yeah, and
it's complicated.
I encourage anyone in that position. If you end up being friend zoned, being rejected, because I mean, everyone's feelings. You're probably based off of the conversations we've had, I could assume you take a much longer time to open up with anybody. Probably like 3 months at the least. Yeah, forever.
At the least, yeah.
Because I can tell, you're, and this isn't even necessarily more good or bad. It's just who you are based off of your experiences. You only take longer before you decide, you know what, you fucking have me, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to like say myself, where in past times I've been quick, and she was just one of those ones that she saw hope. If you end up friend zoned, you end up getting rejected, you end up having whatever in that scenario, where you don't instantly start going looking for your next one and start trying to make hope out of that, because that's how you fall to the fucking, not even the shark that's gonna straight up eat you. That's how you fucking find the serpents in the sea, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you run into the eels and shit.
Eventually you're gonna get wrapped up by those fucking serpents.
Yeah.
You're not gonna let go until it's time.
Yeah.
Let go. And I'm fucking eat you.
That is, when you're in a state like that, you are free to a tailspin like a fucking like a prize, man. It's very I encourage some of them to know that there's that part of me that still hadn't there were parts of me that knew, but there were parts of me that just didn't accept it yet, that weren't really fully capable to move on.
Yeah.
And it's like now it's like I had to get real with myself. I'm like, look, they told you no. They indicated to you they cannot see themselves with you. Oh shit, it's freezing. Wi-Fi's acting up. Hold on. I hope this connection does break. Shit. Hold on. Let me put it this way. No, the connection, bro. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or his. Whoa. Ay. Fuck, I want to continue, but I want to wait till he gets back. But I'll give him a minute to see if he comes back, and then if not, we'll continue on. I don't know if it was my Wi-Fi or not. Shit. Let me see how I do this. Oh no, I don't want filters. I'll give him a second. Did he just join back? Wi-Fi. Alright, there we go.
I just went and told that girl, watch. And I told another girl to come watch. Like, another girl I told to come watch. She went back to a guy that cheated on her 2 or 3 times.
Oh no, we're gonna talk about that shit. We're gonna talk about that shit tonight because I know somebody who's in a situation. You know, especially like being somebody who's come from that situation. It's like, don't even. It's like I'm almost in this mindset where I'm like, don't think you can ration in work.
Like, dude, this girl, I was talking to her for about a good 2 or 3 weeks. This was like after a breakup, and I was helping her and all that. And then I told her to come watch this live stream. Like, she needs to listen. She needs to learn.
Yeah.
Because that's dangerous. It's a real dangerous thing to do. And like the way that guy handled it, I told her, he didn't care. And I guess I don't know if she's attracted to that or what the fuck she's thinking, but I don't know the girl that well, so.
Usually, I mean, from my experience, when it comes to a situation, because I mean, you have to be very emotionally vulnerable and invested for somebody to be able to manipulate you or have that type of control over you to that core where they can tell you, I don't care, I don't really like you, but hey, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because like what we're thinking on our side is like, you know, we're so stuck on this person. Like our hearts are so attached. They're so filled with feeling. And it's like I was saying something where there's almost this fantasy in our minds. And even there's that part of us that knows the reality, but there's also that fantasy that's kicking in. And there's these chemicals that our brain and our hearts are getting by just being with this person and by being able to have them. And we get so fucking addicted to that. You know, it's still very easy for them to lie to our face and us actively believe it. You know, we will rationalize a way to believe it. I was talking to my friend the other day. You know, I know she's been having a really tricky situation with this girl, and you know, she had this like grappling tournament thing she showed up to, and I slid up on her. I was like, "Yo, I didn't know you were into these things. Like, that's really cool." And you know, I was like, "Do you go to these often?" And she's like, "Well, no, not really. I'm just here to support my soon-to-be girlfriend." And knowing what I knew about the situation, I'm like, "She's not your soon-to-be girlfriend, bro. She's with somebody else, and you know that, and you know that, and you're deluded in thinking you're gonna find that other person, and they don't." And it's disappointing because that person doesn't really know what the fuck they want. They can't make a fucking decision with you or that other person. And that other person probably has them by the fucking balls, metaphorically speaking. So that's why they don't just up and leave.
It's that's a real tough one. I think that's more of a they just gotta fucking experience it, see what happens, and then if you don't learn from the worst thing I see is people not learning from it and they keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I know this one girl. I feel like she can't. Like she always says, "Oh, I don't need a guy to keep me happy," but she's always with a dude.
Yeah.
Like they always treat her like shit, and she doesn't see it, and she's always breaking. Like they don't last long at all.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-week period where she's single. Like what? Like that's dangerous. That's really dangerous. That's how you get heart.
Yeah, not even only that. When people bounce around like that, that's the sign of a broken heart. That's the sign of an empty heart. Because I was doing some shit like,
Find someone to fix it.
because they're trying, yeah, exactly. They're trying to find something to fill that spot, fill that fucking hole. They're empty after because they search spree. Because that's what I did, and then eventually, I was just lucky enough to never be able to pull anybody, and eventually it stopped my fucking running around of who's gonna be the next girl. You know, when you're running around like that, wasting your time.
It's not even looking for a relationship. Some people look for it, like fill that hole with sex. It could be
Exactly.
anything, drugs, but the main thing people try to look is for that other sort of connection, whether it's sex or whether it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Yeah. For me, it was being attached to the idea of just having a relationship.
And one thing I told this asshole person, they're gonna come to you. This is the feeling. Remember, they're gonna come to you, and they're gonna expect one or two things. Either you run away, and they're gonna keep chasing you, or you're gonna stand your ground, and maybe they'll probably still fight you, but even if you beat them, they're still gonna resent you in some way, and they're gonna come back. They might even fight you again. And I told her, if you run away, they're gonna know you're a bitch, and it's gonna be relentless. It's not gonna stop, and you're gonna find all these hiding places, but they'll always find you. I told her I'll help you with that, but ultimately this is your own battle.
Yeah, no,
and
this is the distance. Keep that close proximity.
All right, hold on. I told deal with the ascension, but I told her right now you gotta battle with your feelings. I'm not gonna help with your feelings.
Yeah, because in the end, what that ends up doing is it keeps that wound open. Even though there's that good intention coming out of it, even though there's a good act out of it, it's that good act that's gonna go back to those feelings. I think, wow, he's a good person. And you know what? He's a good person helping me. He's a good person that cares. And then it starts going back, and next thing you know, she's gonna think possibility. You know, this is something I need to do with some past motherfuckers in my life. Well, I don't want to refer to as motherfuckers, but people in my life that but like where that distance needs to be essential, because by getting around that person, that it's gonna start slowly stemming back to that one word, possibility. Maybe it could happen. Maybe this is the shot. And this is something I'm really gonna start taking with myself. Once I get rejected, I'm taking that no as a final answer. Like you don't get to say no and then come back a week later and say, "Hey, I'm not really sure. Maybe we should keep talking." Like, no, you told me no. And if you want to say yeah, then why all of a sudden no? Why are you changing your mind? Because if you're the type person that's going to give me a definite answer then and then change your mind, then that lets me know you're indecisive. You don't know what you want, and that's a dangerous spot. And plus, it's better to not have to fuck around with that false hope. Once like once that no's given, the best thing to be. I'm probably gonna hurt a little over this. This shit's probably gonna be a little buggers for me, especially me because I suck at taking rejections. But that's what I got to do. I got to create that distance for now, so that way I can work change the rear view. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna say that directly to the person, but as far as like necessarily like, hey, I just need some distance.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell her that get some your distance, and she needs to put what I taught her to actual use. But yeah, thanks for telling me that, because like obviously, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I have enough experiences. I've never had an experience like this. Like, how my fucking flame comes back and there's this other girl. I tell this other girl. So it's a crazy situation, but
Oh yeah.
at least I wasn't the one, to fall in love so quickly. I've trained myself to, I can do that. I can see a girl and just fall in love with everything about her and see her for what she is. But at the same time, I know female nature and I know my own nature. So, I don't want to fuck anything up. I want to keep everything good the way it is right now.
Yeah.
Maybe like how I see it, let's see what happens in the next 3 or 4 months. And this is for relationships with me. I don't really fuck with relationships too much. Because I got too much to do. Like, I got too much to, I got a life to live.
Yeah.
If I want to invest time with someone, I want to make sure it's all worth it. So,
yeah.
That really sucks with that girl. And, it sucks with me too, because it's
because you're now the bad guy in the situation a bit.
Yeah, because now I gotta deal with that. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. No, I know. I totally understand how that feels.
Close, but
it was only so.
I told her.
You did.
It only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Every girl.
I mean, you did. You did what you could to try and keep it safe, but inevitably, her heart just went. And I don't think she really cared to. The thing is, I don't think she really worried about falling in love being a bad thing because she had that hope.
Yeah.
But it hurt her. But really, just for that girl, man, all that really needs to happen is like keep distance. Don't fuck around with these other guys. Be very, and that's the thing. There, I don't know how attractive this woman is. I don't know how her DMs are looking, but there may be that case where she's got a couple guys that's been waiting in line, thinking, yeah. As soon as she slips up, yeah. Next thing you know, she might consider taking those options in. And that's where hopefully I pray that she's going to have that discipline to be like, well, really, hopefully, and this is going to sound a little fucked up, but this might be the best shot. Hopefully, she's in a position where she's too distraught in order to be able to mess with another person right now. Just paused again. No, not the watch. Okay. I don't know if he keeps disconnecting. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna keep continuing because he's gonna join back in at some point. Sorry, my Instagram's over here and I got you guys, and since I'm chatting with this guy over here, it's like can't really. So, but real talk, keeping distance from it, man. Look, you ain't gotta have animosity, and I know animosity tends to be. Look, I've had breakups in the past. I've been rejected, and a second. He probably would text somebody. Who's all on the stream right now? Let me check. Just that was somebody else. What was I just saying? Oh yeah.
The guy.
Wait. Hold on. I think. Oh yeah, not messing with another guy. Yeah. Like I was saying, hopefully they reach a point. Huh? Well, you like not mess with nobody for a while. Yeah, which is good. That's what needs to happen. Cut it off. Don't allow yourself to messing nobody. Because I've heard advice in the past, like, yeah, man, you just need to get out there and go get yourself a couple cream pies, go get yourself a couple sessions. Like, no, no. When you're in an emotional state like that, where you're hurt, or where somebody's kind of put you in that slump, you gotta be taken with ourselves, And when somebody comes into our life that we see that can provide value with our life, and we let them in, and we do that, and we offer time, we offer opportunity, we spend time, whatever, whatnot, and then it fails. It fails. When we invest something and it goes wrong, you got to spend that time getting back to yourself, and that's yeah.
Like it sounds kind of fucked up. You build something fucked up. You gotta make it grow, keep it the same, destroy it. But the thing is, you gotta keep yourself out of check.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens, you can lose it at any time. Whether it's fucking by bankruptcy, whether all that shit goes away, or if you just can't handle it once it grows too big. So,
Yeah, man, I remember the other day when I was over by the lake, sitting in the truck, I was thinking about this girl that I've had a crush on. I had a crush on for like years on top of years on top of years on top of years. I want to say at least 5 years. It's always like in and out, but like it's always there. You know what I mean? And I remember sitting there, and when those tears started to roll, dude, all I could think was, I've spent so much time and experienced so much life with this woman, built so much of a bond and connection, just for me to be nothing more than just a friend.
yeah.
And that shit hurt. I mean, like, that was like nothing. Like, sometimes when I'm talking to myself, like, I feel the emotion, and I'm almost like communicating with it in a sense. It sounds kind of weird. And then there's always this one thing. Once I hit the root or something, I say that one thing, and it's like, when I said that, I spent so much time with her just for it to never work out. It was like everything went, because like in that moment, I feel like, I realized how much I really lost, how much really went into it all for nothing, and how it really factored into so much of that inadequacy I kind of feel as a man sometimes, when I tend to get rejected, because like one of the things that always kind of bothered me, was like thinking to myself, I could try so hard with a woman, and then a guy could come in, do so much less, and then get a better taker, get her. And that shit would bother the fuck out of me. And it always was like, I always started to think to myself, like, it's because I'm inadequate. It's because I'm like, girls don't want me. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Am I just unattracted? And it would get, because my self esteem was so wrapped in that shit, or because emotionally I was invested in that person. So, thinking to myself, like, I spent so much of this time.
I'll stop real quick. It's funny that you say, it almost feels like another person. It's because in a sense it is. You're dealing with your lower self when you're doing that. Like, there's you, that's your lower self, and then your higher self. When you're going into those feelings, those low vibration feelings, your vibe lowers, and you're gonna get to that lower self. About the other night, it's called shadow work. That shadow is gonna follow you wherever. You might as well fucking deal with it. So it's funny that you say, it's almost like you're dealing with another person, like, the way you are.
One thing I've learned about people. Wait, continue.
It's like, like, who do you wanna, like, who do you wanna be? You wanna be stuck in that shadow for the rest of your life, or you wanna get on? Like, you gotta find a way to move on.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing, dude. Like, even though there's a lot of pain in knowing that I done put so much time into it, offer her to go to another man or some shit, you know, to deal with something like that, to deal with the rejection that, you know, I put someone back. I can't change it. I got to accept that loss. Accept that, hey, I done laid this much time down. I done laid it and did my thing. Now it's time to fucking be a man about it. Swallow that no, swallow that pill, swallow the fact that she wanted somebody else, she got somebody else, and it's time to move on. It's time to take those steps forward, heal, you know, confront that shadow. And then once I've integrated with that and accepted it and come to that forgiveness, I'll put that motherfucker in my rear view.
Yep.
But hold on, let me start up.
How fast you're going to be in a car. Cars have a shadow takes many forms.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wherever you go.
That's why you got to integrate with it.
And it could be like
Hey, how y'all doing? Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoy what you're seeing here on YouTube. If you do, you like what we're talking about, throw us a thumbs up. Throw us a couple comments after the stream. Tell us up. Tell us how you like it. Tell us how you feel about it. Because it really helps the engagement. It gets us more views on YouTube, man. We're still at 600 subscribers. 613 now. We're gonna try and get to that 700. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm gonna get y'all a vlog actually soon. I know I'm getting back on my daily content. It's gonna be a little minute, but yo, we gonna be doing our thing. We gonna be figuring it out. Especially spending some big time and big moves on that.
I'll put mine the other way because it looks a little better and it helps me charge my phone too.
Yeah, that's why I had my horizontal as well. Especially when when it's trying to process two people talking.
Bro, that's like the same size as my own stomach. I'm full.
Done.
You know what I hated, dude? But my mom used to fill me the fuck up, and she wouldn't let me stop eating until it was done. And like I'd go to bed, like I couldn't even breathe sometimes.
I found one, a real one. A real one? What are we talking about by a real one? But fuck, somebody just joined the stream and it reminded me of what you said earlier. Hold on. Another person, people, pepper, penny, okay, I don't know what you said. I'm not. But I'm trying to remember what you said earlier. It was knowing for that. It was way before that. It was pertaining to relationships and like knowing how to control your feelings and like not let it go too fast. Knowing who to give your energy to or some shit like that. I can't remember, but like the way you said it was just perfect.
Was it the fish analogy? Was it like a feeling that's like an asshole person?
No, I think it might have been before that. Can't remember. Fuck it. Man, it was such a good point too, because I wanted to share that a little more on this.
Maybe it'll pop up.
Yeah, it will. But I actually wanted to share something interesting that I kind of found out today. So like, you know, on the way when I was driving home from work, you know, I was thinking to myself like, fuck man, I really hate this place. Like it's fucking it is awful. And I'm just thinking like, dude, like I want to quit so bad and I want to leave. And like, you know, I gotta I can't, you know, and I even watched a video after. I was like, should I quit my job? Because it's like it's just it's awful. And you know, it kept me in a logical sense and didn't let my emotions about the situation get the best of me. And you know, because when I got home, I was just like, I'm thinking to myself, like, fuck, man, like it's really this is a tricky thing. I'm coming home. I'm thinking I have when I pulled up to the house, I'm thinking I have not been hustling my hardest. I have not been doing my best, and it's time to get back on the fucking grind. And I realized that the situation I'm in, hating my fucking job, and it almost feeling like a rut in a sense. No, not a rut, but it's like it's a hole, and it's a place I want to get out of. And it's like now because I'm in that shitty spot, and now because it sucks so bad, it's like I I'm now in a position where I have to fight to get out. And the only way to do that,
I'll give you a good analogy for that. So you're in this hole, what you don't want to do. I mean, you hate your job. What you don't want to do is you don't want to dig straight down.
yeah,
You want to dig outwards, make it easier to go back up.
yeah,
I don't know how you got to find ways to do that. Like that's what you're doing right now. You're on YouTube. You're on Instagram. You were just working the job. You just be going down the hole. That money is just one thing.
yeah. And that's sort of what was slowly starting to happen, and was it stopped. And like I wasn't doing my $1.80 strategy, growing my following.
Yes, I noticed that.
It's because it now I've got to fight to get out of this hole. I've got to start digging outwards. And it's like the only way I get out of this fucking hole to get out, and that's handling the eBay hustle. That's handling the YouTube and the Instagram. That's doing my shit to get in the film industry. That's investing what I need to outside of these hours and making it fucking happen. Or I can stay in this fucking hole, but if I'm gonna stay in this fucking hole, I better not be fucking complaining why I'm not out of it.
Yeah.
And then
it's like you gotta keep digging wider and wider, and look, one day someone will either find you in that hole because that hole's way too fucking wide, or you're gonna get out yourself. But after that, you gotta fill that hole back up with that dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'm kind of
totally understand.
yeah, because what I'm kind of like realizing is like I'm kind of glad that I ended up in this hole, because now I've backed myself into a corner where I have to succeed in order to get out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in that corner, it's like it's gonna suck. I'm gonna be eating shit for a while, but that's the hole that's gonna be. I have an turn. I have a choice, and if I'm thinking for a second, I'm gonna slack on the grind, or back off, and getting out. It's now that I'm in that corner.
Think of your work as the shovel, and then think of what you're doing now as the ladder.
Yeah. So I just found that interesting. I kind of wanted to share that. If you find yourself in that, to anybody, you find yourself in that position where you might be in whatever it is that maybe your parents are kicking you out, or what you had a deadline before your parents kick you out, something or anything. Like once you find yourself backed into a corner and it sucks, find a way to start applying that analogy of dig that hole wider, man. Once you're in the hole.
Hold on, my dog. What that?
No, it's all good.
The other day, someone, or not someone, a beaver came in my yard. Beavers are some hard ass motherfuckers. they're just giant rats. And those things chew through wood. I mean, it got my dog pretty good. My dogs are afraid of anything wild, so I have to think about that. But I ended up having to kill it. That sucked. But oh my god, my dog. Yeah, Riley. Heard someone yell, "Get out of here!" But yeah, my dogs they're were fearless. They were giving us that fear. They weren't even doing anything.
Yeah.
I threw a blanket on it. I beat it. That sucked. But I didn't let it go to waste. I skinned it and everything. I was that hard ass.
Yeah. I actually got bit by a giant. I don't even know what type of dog it was, man. I went to my friend's house to give him a gift, and for his birthday, I knock on the door. But usually when I come over, they put that dog in the backyard, but no cars were there, so I'm thinking like, oh, so maybe no one's home. But then I hear a voice, so I'm like, oh, it's his older brother. Okay, so he knows that the dog doesn't like me. So then the door opens after they ask who I am, and all of a sudden it's his younger brother. So I'm like, his younger brother doesn't know that this dog fucking bites me. So all of a sudden I just see the dog come up. and and like I look at this thing, I'm like, fuck man, it's gonna happen. You know, I was like, you know what? Maybe he'll just sniff this time. I don't fuck it, man. I hand the gift over. I'm like, hey, yeah, I got a gift for your brother. And as soon as I give it to him and I let go of it, his mouth just went like this. And it gripped for a second and then let go. And like I'm gonna see if you can see it. Like right there. I'm trying to see where else. This is the most of the bite. And then
Yeah, I see that.
yeah.
Wow.
He just went and then he got me. It was so weird because I didn't feel it at first. You know, he just got me and I just noticed like his teeth got it. And I'm just thinking, God fucking damn it. And I thought he was like gonna go full on attack mode. So I'm like, yeah, I'm about to have to fight this dog, man. But like after he bit me, he just like started pacing around. And I'm like, what the fuck is up with this thing, man? So then my hand, like, I started squeezing it, and I slowly started to feel the pain, and I was like, God dang it. And then, you know, the younger brother's like, he's like, oh, buddy, no, man, you're all right. And I'm just thinking to myself, dang it, right? This was actually when we somewhat got along, start to posture up. And then when I started petting it, it calmed down. So then anytime I tried to move away from it or stop petting it because I had to go, he got mad at me and postured up. And then eventually when I started walking, he bit my hand. Like, we're sorry about this. Because apparently I'm the only person he bites, man.
Funny as fuck.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I had a similar situation like that with a cat. Like you could see every single muscle in his body and it's long hair too. It's scary. So one time I saw this thing. I was riding down the road. Like this thing is a savage. But whenever this thing comes to sit beside you, you would have to pet it. And when you stop, you put his paw on your leg. Take his claws until he was like, all right, I'm done. Go away.
Wow.
Home salt.
Cats beg for attention, man. Once you give it to them, like, yeah, once you give it to them, they're just like, more.
Like one of those cats, like if it wanted to fuck you up, it would fuck you up.
It was basically just like a baby tiger.
Yeah. Black cat.
Oh. Oh. I can just imagine that. Just
they wouldn't attack anyone. The only time he was eating it packets. Alright, so my friend Richie was going down the road one night and she was hungry. And she started circling him. Like the grass here is real tall, so she would circle and she would run across the road. She would do another circle. She kept circling him, and then once he took off, she chased him and she was trying to eat him. Like my dogs are, they wouldn't hurt anyone, but at the same time, they're like almost like wild dogs. I mean, they fight anything. They just fought a skunk 2 nights ago. Murdered them. They don't give a shit if they get sprayed.
God.
I don't know, but enough talk about dogs.
Anybody over here? I know we got it.
People are still yelling. He's still having like a hard ass.
Anybody got any questions? I know we have a couple viewers on YouTube right now, and one over here on Instagram. Anybody got any questions for us? Oh, I think okay. This sort of leads into what we were talking about earlier, but that person isn't here anymore. But the other night we were talking in a live stream. When did you and how did you? How did I what? You got to elaborate more on that. But we were talking about basically this person was saying, I commented on the post. We were talking about like it was talking about like finding someone who cares genuinely and is giving not to expect something out of it, but because they genuinely care. And I was like, yeah, like that's what love does. We have a genuine desire to give. It's not a transaction. It's a genuine desire to offer because it's within us. And she was saying, yeah, it's very hard to find someone like that. And we got into a live stream. We talked about it last live stream. And one of the things that you said today that was so interesting to me was being aware and careful on who you decide to give that energy to. And that's the one thing I wish I really could have elaborated more on. That was being conscious on who you give your energy to, because when you start to get all lovey-dovey with every person you meet or something, or any house, the cats, the kids, and all that, that puts you in a bad spot. Like you can't, and even me, like I got to put this shit in check. Like, whenever I start getting like that, it's like, oh, you got to chill, dude. Like you don't know this person like that, G. And you got to spend time, like you got to spend time and connect with these people. And even if you already have a connection, you got to be aware of like how relationship compatibility goes, because sometimes you spend time with a person and whatnot, but to be honest, you can miss so much shit out the gate just because you're so fucking infatuated and feeling.
Yeah.
And then eventually you give your energy without realizing you actually gave it to the wrong person because you got infatuated. And it's like, it's good to feel, and it's good to, like we all fucking love football. It feels great to be, to get into that feeling, and we start to feel really good. But it's like also you got to keep that shit in check, because if you can't be, if you can't keep a clear head, if you can't be aware, you can't keep a clear head on being aware of who you're about to give your energy to like that. You're treading dangerous waters, risky waters. That am I, and how I'm kind of seeing it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving your energy away to someone, but obviously, you gotta watch who you're gonna give it to and how much you're gonna give away. I mean, your energy's not gonna run out. You can get that back real quick, but that energy that you gave them, they're always gonna remember that. Not only that, they can use that energy that you gave to them. And there's so many things that go into place. Like, your fuel tank, it's not gonna run out, but it'll get low.
Yeah.
The main thing is just watching how the fuck you give that to. It's like giving people rides. Your fuel tank might run out, but your time will.
Yeah. It's just one piece of advice I'd really give, like, personally to myself and others, and I'm kind of curious on your take is this as well. When you've gone through when you've gone through multiple relationships and they just haven't worked out, they've all, and I bring this up, 99.9% of relationships end in a train wreck. They're gonna fail, you know, and it's like what, she was bringing up, it gets exhausting to have to put your effort towards somebody, go for it, and then have it not work out. It kind of chips, right? Take your lessons from each person, and then as you go forward with the next people that tend to come around or whatever, that's when you got to develop that awareness, and based off of the experiences you have with those last people, that's going to determine whether, like, how you bring up, you're probably a lot more aware of females who have that, because female nature, so you could probably point out when a female is trying to probably has some malicious intent, has had less experiences, or hasn't had those experiences at all, really. They're probably thinking, yeah, women are good. It's just a few of them. Like, no, you realize, like, no, some of these motherfuckers they looking to steal that seed. Or,
Think about it like work, like bodybuilding, man. Like relationships are exactly like bodybuilding. Like obviously, you're only gonna grow with bodybuilding, especially if you do it right. If you don't do it right, you're gonna digress. But if you do it right, you're gonna keep growing. You're gonna keep growing. And eventually, you're gonna get to this point where you're gonna hit the peak. And at this peak, this is usually where you're gonna find, maybe that person that's gonna be with you for the rest of your life. Obviously, I don't know this shit. I'm only 19, but
yeah,
once you're with that person for the rest of your life, you don't even necessarily need to grow anymore. I mean, you will, but it won't necessarily be in, your body's going to start shrinking, and it's going to be good after that. But it's all training, and you got to enjoy that training, And there's so many things that, I don't know where I'm really going with that, but.
no, I kind of I find it, yeah, no, interesting how you say that, enjoying that training. Like, it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, and it's painful, It's painful. Bodybuilding's it's not always that fun. There's times where you'll get severely injured. There's times where.
Yeah, and
that's the main thing. You gotta be aware. You can work out every day, but if you're not aware of what you're doing, you might not grow. You can have relationships here and there, but if you're not aware of your relationships, you're not gonna grow. The main thing is awareness. Whatever you pay, you're gonna get. You might not get it back. You pay it. Just gotta worry about where that where your goes.
Oh yeah. He's fucking with me. He says there's a spider near me. I was looking around for it, and now I'm actually like kind of like I'm getting paranoid. Okay, now there's a spider here. He's fucking with me.
This one time I was with this girl, and she had a kid. And she brought her kid over to my place. This is so embarrassing. She went to put her kid to sleep, or all that. She went to go check on her kid. And a fucking spider right beside his head.
Oh!
That was so embarrassing. I was like, what? You don't have spiders in your house? I got a friend in the house. I was like, alright. Well, my bad. Spider crawled on my pillow.
Ow. Okay, wait. When did you and how did you lose your virginity? Okay, so this is an interesting story. You seem like you want to go first, so I'll let you.
Alright, so the first time I did it with a girl, I was 13. Now, I was 12. I was young. I was a young boy. So we're talking with this chick, a blonde girl. Okay, so alright, we lived in the same neighborhood, right? So I love fishing. This was back in Alabama. I love fishing. I would go fishing every day. This one dock that I went to. I found out my best friend. He was dating this girl from my neighborhood, and they broke up. And I found out who the girl was, and I found out, like where she lived and all that. And eventually, she started coming out fishing again. So we started hanging out here and there. And her dad didn't like it. Her dad he was like classic, and like dudes, especially 6 years, 11, 13. get sneaky. Her dad came out with a shotgun. So we had to start getting a little sneaky, so we'd only see each other at night. Eventually, we on that same dock. We started doing stuff. And I didn't know what I was doing, but he didn't know what he was doing.
Blind leading the blind.
I was trying to do my fingers and stuff. I got my first little condom. We did on the dock. Yeah, that's that story. But how that ended is she asked me to go help find something in the woods. And I thought we were gonna do something again, right? And then once we got there, it was the wallet. Wallets. And I looked inside the wallet and it was a condom. It was my best friend. And I just ended things right there. That's some funny shit. Now that I think about it, the girl still lives in the neighborhood. We go back.
Oh man.
Shit, but I didn't see it.
Oh man. That's funny. All right. So mine was a little interesting. So first time ever stuck it inside. It was actually really funny. This was one of those makeup. This is one of those makeup sex scenarios. I'd eat her out, I'd finger her, whatever. But I never got to stick it in, right? So we met up somewhere, and I remember I was just talking with her about it. And long story short, she ends up basically telling me like, yeah, like you're just in your head. You're like, I don't know what to tell you. La da 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 da. So me being later, and then I remember somehow we ended up in the bowling alley parking lot, and we were just chilling there. And then she was like, I forgot how we led up to it, but I remember we went into the back seat of this like Jeep Cherokee, and seats went down as we're just laying there, and she's like, forgot how she asked it, but basically she was like, I've been taking my birth control for like more than 7 days, right, or something like that, and I'm thinking, so is this your way of telling me what is inside? So, so me just like, so, like, do you want it to happen? Like, and she's like, I mean, if you wanted to, yeah. I'm like, well, fuck yes. I'm about to lose my virginity here. Like, fucking right, I'm about to make this shit happen. So, it was weird. Like, it was, it wasn't like scary, but it was more like, shit, hopefully I'm like somewhat decent at this, because I'm not gonna know what the fuck I'm doing at all. Because I remember I just went inside, and like I remember it was so hard. You gotta like just it's not that hard. And I'm like, hold on, I think I got this. Eventually once I got it in, it started going. But like I was so slow, it was just like, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you another little funny story. This is when I had to watch out.
By the way, that was when I was 18. 18 years.
This is when I knew I had to watch out. I was with this girl, and I was like, I thought like I hadn't done anything in a while. I thought like I just lost my shit because like I was trying to find. I was trying to find it. And I was like, am I in? And she was like, yeah. I was just thinking, oh shit, this girl's so damn loose. I didn't even know I was inside. And then once I started going, I was like, oh my god, what is this?
Oh man. Yeah, no. You know, it's one of the worst things about getting somebody loose is just knowing somebody bigger got to her. That is like, cause I remember, man, just like getting that one girl, just tagging it, and then it just kept fucking slipping out. And I'm just thinking,
And,
most.
I'm never scared of that. Like, I'll be the first one to admit, I'm extra deep, but that's never really a problem. I've been with enough that I know what.
Yeah. And that's really one thing that I found out about myself. I tend to pick it up quick. Once I just need I just need that time.
Yeah.
You give me 30 days of hitting it every day. Oh yeah. You best believe after them 30 days, you ain't gonna know what happened. You ain't gonna know what happened.
Did you get pussy?
Basically. Wait. Oh wait, you're asking me what? Wait, what is that? Oh shoot, it froze. No, no. So what were you asking? Did I get what's pussy whipped?
Pussy whipped is when you can't get enough.
Oh,
You don't have to care about the girl that much. It's like,
I've had close instances like that. It was actually one of my first sexual experiences with any woman. It was just I was I want to say 16 at the time, 16 or 15, 16 or 15, no, yeah, 16 to 17, I want to say. And I remember, this is when I was first finally hitting 90 days on NoFap. Well, no, I wasn't gonna tell the blue ball story, but it's that girl from the blue ball story. Yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah. So that was she. Cause for me, man, I'm like addicted to tits. I don't know what it is. Like it's like I just I just got an addiction to girls that I couldn't like besides the ex because I was so emotionally invested in it and she just gave awesome head. I'm just going to admit it. It was very hard to cut that off. And the last girl I had any sort of sexual interaction with, it was pretty easy to cut off because it's just like now that I have a little more control over my sexual energy, and again, it's not that emotional, so it's very easy for me to just be like chop. But with the first girl, and then once I had the experience, it was just like it really was just like a giant tease for a while. We constantly talking to each other. She'd be sending pics or whatever, some shit like that, or it was very like I always. So that was probably the closest. Like, had it been more often, and like had things like actually had manifested, and it would have been a consistent basis, I think that probably would have been the girl to pussy with me. But other than that, yeah, that probably would have been it. And as far as a girl that pussy with me that I wasn't really like emotionally invested with. We got another question. Yo, you really helped me in your early videos. What are your views on God? Oh, I'll say this. Because there's so many ways to interpret God depending on the spiritual community has a way of interpreting him. Just to describe him, discuss him. Uh, My sister was actually bringing this up, and I just thought this would be interesting to say. She was bringing up how, when she is responsible for the things rather than just one God doing everything. And it was very interesting to me that she found it more sensible that multiple gods would have taken care of it rather than just one all on its own. I thought it was interesting that she kind of saw that was interesting. Um, as far as my views on God, I'll say this. As my experience through life, there's one, that is that's uh, a result, a product of higher levels. But I can't say that I am My views on God. Well, let me get grounded with this. Let me come to a smart space with this. You can feel free to put some input on this if you want while I try and figure this out. Because how I've always kind of seen it is like, I believe in a higher power. I believe there's some is manifesting. I think God can be referred to in many ways, man. I just and I've brought this up in the past. You can't. I personally don't think that God's just one of the many names you can identify him as. You know, I don't know. I'll say this though.
So,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to
so,
put this together.
so most people that are probably watching this right now are most likely believed in, and my whole focus on life was to, be closer to the God that everyone thinks of. The white man in the sky, with Jesus, his white son, sitting right beside him. And then I got kicked out by my mom. I came here, and I started to actually read the Bible. And I read it from front to back, and I started learning about the Bible. And what I found is, in the Bible, it always talks about, the great I am. And it's funny. It's funny that you brought up Greece and all that. Shut up. Because in Greek, the Bible means the son book. Means holy means Helios. And you can sit here and tell me that the Bible doesn't have anything to do with astrology, but
Oh yeah, no, I've heard that argument before.
Like I'm probably gonna win the argument, but the point is, there's so many things in the Bible that I can talk about, but I don't really want to. The point is, when you say I am, those are the two most powerful. Shut the fuck up. Those are the two most powerful words in the universe. You say I am, and then whatever happens after, that's what you think, that's what you will become. So, you say I am a piece of shit. Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
You are a co-creator, and I do believe in a higher power. I do believe there is power, because you could use that power to manifest what you want. When you say I am, and it says this in the Bible so many times, the great I am, the creator. Then I believe there is a creator. Now I don't believe it's this. I'm gonna close my window. You look at actual science, you got the X chromosome, you got the Y chromosome. Don't ask chromosome, that's a male. What dick is, it's the vagina, all it is. It's an inverted vagina that came outwards. And if you guys didn't know this, resides in bone marrow. Alright?
That I did not
So
know.
when people say how fuck this story was, taking a piece of the ribbon, getting that, you can look at it from a scientific perspective. How can that little Y chromosome turn into an X? How can this woman be be the answer to all life? Like, without women, where the fuck would we be? We can't have children.
Yeah.
Like, and and you look at the animal kingdom too. What do you see? You see a queen, and then you see all the workers. And all the workers are fucking males. All the males are smaller. The queen's big. And there's only female lion. Like, the female lions could kick out. They could kick out their king if they want to. Like, and that's how it is with real life. A women have power. But I don't really have too much else to say on that. Like, you look at it your own way, dude. Just remember that you are a co-creator of your own reality, and I believe God. And you control everything, like every single thing. You gotta remember, it's your own life, and you don't control anything else. other than what's going on in your life, which makes you
I was actually me and my sister were talking about something, where where we run into people who say, when they enter hard times and they make a prayer, right, or something, and it seems to manifest. It seems to come true later on down the line. God does this work, and I almost kind of coming from a sort of scientific view. Uh, I believe that prayer does something to our minds when we pray for something, or when we are prepared to manifest something. We're sending a message to our minds. And when we're really in vibration with that, when we're really in connection to that message that we're sending to the higher power, great with that. And what you're gonna realize is that your actions follow it. And so what you may manifest, what happens later down the line, what you thought was what, and I'm not, I don't say this to like deny that the higher power did anything, but what I find is that what you said, God answered your prayer, was like you put a message in your head and your body followed. Psychologically, you manifest, psychologically it happened, and then it followed through. I'm very nitpicky on words at times, because it's like.
Watch this photo, I hate piece of shit. like, you probably felt a little bit of something that even your mind didn't. Your soul.
Yeah.
Like that's energy. Do that to someone, that's energy.
Yeah.
Point at someone, that's energy. When you this is energy. The throat chakra, atom.
Yeah.
The Adam's apple. Why they call it the Adam's apple? Think about ATOM. You're sending these particles out and you're receiving it.
Yeah.
There's this one experiment where this dude got 2 fucking mason jars of rice and put water in each of them. On one, this was a 30-day experiment. One of them, he told the jar, "I love it." He told it all the positive things. And the other jar, he told it he hated it. The rice became yellow, and the one that he said he hated, the crystals from the water was all broken up, and the water was just straight polluted. And the one he said he loved, the crystals were like snowflakes. They were perfect. So I mean, words have so much power.
Oh yeah.
This is how manipulation works.
Yeah.
You can say something, you can necessarily mean it, but that person's still gonna have all that.
The reception of it.
Yeah. Everything is perception. The way you see things. Think of something, and then think of that thing for X amount of days. You're gonna start seeing it. Like my cousin Crystal, she sees 3 crows every single day. But the reason why she keeps seeing them is because she keeps thinking about it. My other friend, he saw 3 his other friend on court. Whatever you put your mind to, it's gonna attract. You're gonna notice it. You got this little cone of perception. But once you focus it on something, it's gonna go towards them. It's gonna go towards that thing. You got this big ass perception. Your subconscious mind doesn't know that. Your subconscious mind picks up that little cone of vision. Your subconscious mind will notice everything around it, around you.
The things that we do, the habits that we take up, it's so important to be aware of the psychology. Like I feel like once and one of the it was so interesting watching a David Goggins video today. He was saying one of the advantages of growing up weak is knowing what makes other people weak. What? Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi is acting up. Oh, there we go.
Yep. Awesome.
It was probably mine because it started freezing up. Um, yeah, hopefully that answered your question on God. Well, I mean, you're probably not here anymore, but um, no, didn't get a different camera. It's just the Wi-Fi that's making it glitchy now. The last live stream was awfully glitchy. It literally is like just freeze. I tried to record a video for it on today's post, and it just didn't happen because it was just so damn glitchy and low quality. I'm like, yeah, this can't go on Instagram. When it's processing two people as well. I don't know how many. I don't know what type of toll it'll take as far as this. This is like because it used to be hard for me to run double live streams like this, you know, with two people. But now it's actually a lot better. So that's actually really good, especially since I got two of them going.
Any other questions other than God? I'm gonna finish up on the God thing. God is whatever you find out. No one's gonna answer it for you.
Yeah.
Man, trying to find God is like a wave trying to find a sea. It's the sea. It's part of it.
It's fine. And how do I put this? Like, because like I've said in the past, you know, the Bible is very symbolic. It's very metaphorical. It's just like a little orb. I always bring that up. Like, you know, we think it's these grand beings. It's like, would you ever think that God's just maybe a speck of dust doing all this? Yeah, it's like that was really the best. And let's finish it off on though. You know, it's however you perceive.
One thing, a little cool story. So, if you know anything about the tree of life and Kabbalah, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's basically these energy centers, and it goes to all this. It represents the chakra system. You got the crown chakra, that's nirvana, heaven, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and then you got the root chakra, the red. This is the lowest vibration you can get to. This is where sex happens. This is where you fear your fight or flight instincts. Now, there's a story. I think it's in Luke chapter or something. I forgot what it was, but it describes how Satan got sent down to hell like a lightning strike. And if you look at the tree of life, the lines look like a lightning strike, and then you got the bar. Oh, so I don't know. You can interpret what you want with that, but that's something pretty cool. And the same thing goes with how if you want to grow, you got to get to that highest point, that crown chakra. And as far as religion goes, the way they depict it, you got the halo on the head with the angels.
Mm-hmm.
And, that symbolizes yourself. Your goal is to go from there upwards. So it is whatever you want it to make. It is whatever. There's no right or wrong. It's your own path.
It's always kind of Ben Shapiro. I don't know if you know who that is, but he was bringing up something. You know how religion has that. It's interesting because it can when you believe in something greater than you, something higher than yourself like that. Um, something that you can put your faith in, something that you can put your trust in, like that. Character and beneficial to just your overall life. I want to say, in a sense. Gotta get that connection. Who's on the stream right now? Got Luke here. Oh. We got 2 minutes, so if anyone wants to ask any questions before we end the stream, let me know so I can start up another one and we can talk about it as our final topic. If not, then we'll go ahead and end up on the final note here. Whatever y'all want to do. So I'll give a couple minutes for another topic. If no topics roll in. Some days we just need to fuck something. All right. Well, thank you for everybody coming out. You guys have a good night. Bless up.